After 15 whole chapters, we finally got some intel on Momoshiki into Blue Vortex, and it seems like his groundbreaking comeback is being set up. The reason I believe this comes from Boruto, who claims that Momoshiki hasn't spoken a single word all these years. This means the last time when we saw him talking to Boruto in chapter 80 was also the last time when he had a conversation with him in the story. The demon and the vessel don't seem to have had an off-screen conversation, but one thing is clear, that he did emerge during the infamous code fight, and this emergence of the otsutsuki was so terrifying that Boruto stopped using karma from that day. He explains it as a state where he felt like dying while still being conscious. This means there is more to the time skip fight where Sasuke succumbed to a clog rhyme. As we can see here, Boruto is not using the karma, but looking at what he revealed to Kawaki, he did use the karma seal in this fight, so that must be an off-screen event of course. But here is how it gets interesting. We know prior to the time skip, Momoshiki did have a fight with Code where he could have completely annihilated the King of Elves. However, Code never hinted at a rematch happening, rather he reminded Boruto about the helpless situation that he was stuck in 2 years ago. So could it be that Momoshiki escaped the moment when Momoshiki took over, or is he just hiding the fact that he was crushed by the otsutsuki? Well, that's one of the mysteries for us to decode in today's video. We also gotta find out why he's silent, what he's cooking, and how his on-screen debut into Blue Vortex could change everything. But before we take a dive into all this, if you see a subscribe button down there, make sure to tap on it to never miss any upload from my side. The fateful return of Momoshiki could change the fates of many people in the story. He was the reason Boruto's life got so worse, from becoming a threat to the people around him to the victim of omnipotence. The prodigy lost everything thanks to the entity seal inside of him, and now that he has been missing for over 3 years, Boruto is shocked and surprised at the same time. He is trying to reduce the usage of the karma to prevent his potential emergence, but looking at how he's still there but not uttering a word, things seem to have taken a turn for the worse. There's a good reason behind why Momoshiki's silence is affecting Boruto so much. Think of it as a child in your house who keeps screaming and making noises wherever he goes, so you immediately get to know where he is, which is kinda relieving as well as a bit annoying. The problem emerges when the child stops saying anything, which could mean a couple of things. Either he's not in the house anymore or he's lost, and both the situations can gravely panic his parents. Something similar is going down with Momoshiki. Boruto knows he's still there, and there were times when his intel used to come handy as well, but now that he's completely gone, it must be a frightening moment for the vessel, who literally has no idea what's going on. So what could be the true reason behind Momoshiki's mysterious silence? Well, it could be because he realized that whenever he opened his mouth, his plans got terribly spoiled, from foretelling the Blue Eyes prophecy to giving some reminders to Boruto about losing everything. Nothing has ever went according to Momoshiki's plan, and maybe he blames himself for all of this. Even the time when he explained omnipotence to Boruto, he believed the vessel would now surrender his consciousness based on how helpless the situation was. But since Boruto decided not to give up and use the intel of Momoshiki in his favor, it must have rang a bell for the otsutsuki that something is wrong. He played a number of wrong moves in the game, and now he needs to redeem them just so he won't miss the chance to fulfill the new plans. The same plans that are destroying Boruto, since he knows nothing about them. Back in part 1, Boruto knew that some blue eyes will take everything away from him, so he must have subconsciously absorbed that prophecy into his psyche, which is how he was able to act better when the prophecy came true. In other words, it was Momoshiki who prepared him for the worst outcome. If he had never interfered with Boruto after making him the vessel, chances are he would have fulfilled his plan, since there was no way for Boruto to know what's happening. Be it the occasional takeovers, the news that he's now an otsutsuki, or the fateful twist of fate, Momoshiki could have remained silent and he would have already won. But now that it's the past mistake of the otsutsuki, he's trying to make up for it by completely abandoning his vessel. The reason he was talking to him in part 1 was only because he was certain the odds will play out in his favor. Little did he know that Boruto is being protected by the heavens, a blessing that helped him to escape death, that too a number of times. Now the new plan of Momoshiki involves patience and not giving his opinions to the vessel. If he wants the full control of his body, it's better to keep the plans to himself instead of revealing them with overconfidence and failing again. I could have said that Kashin Koji's intel about prescience and how fate is not a linear line in the verse could have been the the reason behind Momoshiki's silence. Maybe he didn't know this much about fate and destiny till now, and how some odds can alter based on minor actions. But looking at how he claimed to have knowledge about every Shinjutsu, I don't think this was something that he wasn't aware about. If it was actually the case, then it would have made sense for him to occasionally whisper something to Boruto before he met Kashin Koji. But since his silence dates back to the time when the vessel went rogue, there is definitely something being cooked by the otsutsuki, which neither involves Kashin Koji nor the futures that he foresaw. Not to mention, Momoshiki also has a foresight of his own, so maybe he is calculating the best move possible to hijack Boruto, which is why he hasn't spoken in 3 whole years. He must be planning hard to not lose his only chance this time. While he technically has many chances available, I think he is focused on a single opportunity this time as well, based on how he gambled everything on the Blue Eyes prophecy last time. There must be some similar event that he's betting everything upon, without informing anything to the vessel. Kashin Koji's prescience is also something that I believe may have played a role in silencing the otsutsuki. Looking at how he has the knowledge of every Shinjutsu, I think he knows how to bypass prescience. Momoshiki knows by intervening in Boruto's life and unveiling his guards could enable Koji to see his future actions too. So the best way to prevent someone from seeing your future through prescience must be to stop speaking about your plans or expressing any detail that could manifest into a possibility. When the one using prescience is unaware of definite possibilities, it must be hard for them to see a future where anything like that occurs. Like in case of Momoshiki, just because Kashin Koji was unaware about his current state and the reason behind his silence, that may be why he couldn't see his future role and actions, simply because the otsutsuki's influence in this world has vanished, and it's something that Momoshiki planned himself. He knows how to play his cards well in order to secure a great future. The otsutsuki is definitely learning by his mistakes, and Boruto somehow knows that it's a bad sign. Momoshiki's return would be the most unexpected thing in the story, because neither prescience gave us any hint of what's going down, nor the monster himself revealed any of his plans. This is why even Kawaki said that the situation seems to have gotten worse. Well, another theory that I have for how Momoshiki bypassed prescience has something to do with Himawari. Kashin Koji knew almost everything about Boruto's future, but something he couldn't catch was the comeback of Kurama. Both Boruto and Koji were left shocked after getting to know about Himawari's Nine-Tails connection. This means it's not something that they foresaw in any of the futures, and while we can imply the inside of the unknown card to understand why it happened, but what if it's something more than not having certain people in mind whose future you want to foresee? I believe the meetings of the subconscious can neither be seen through Senringan nor the power of prescience or any Shinjutsu. This means if Momoshiki ever interacts with Boruto from within, Kashin Koji won't be able to catch it, and since he is silently preparing for something within the subconscious of the vessel, what if he is training inside Boruto's conscience just to prepare himself for a fight with the vessel? It could be a real fight that would take place within Boruto's subconscious, where both the entities would go head to head to claim the control of the body. Think of it as Kurama attacking Himawari in the subconscious when they first met. He could have taken over her body, similar to how he used to outrage back in the day. But in case of Boruto, Momoshiki may challenge him for a fight within their subconscious just to see who actually deserves the body. And by looking at how Boruto is using the karma in the future, it seems like he won against Momoshiki in this potential fight. Otherwise, he wouldn't be using karma so fearlessly. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a Boruto versus Momoshiki battle sometime in the future. So now that we know the reason behind Momoshiki's silence and why it's slowly taking away Boruto's peace of mind, let's move on to the last time when he appeared in the story. The off-screen fight between Code and Sasuke, where Boruto was forced to use the Gamma Seal. According to him, it was like a conscious state but felt like death. He doesn't seem to have any concrete memory of the takeover, and even Code never mentioned meeting Momoshiki during his second meetup with Boruto. Well, it could be that Code simply escaped since he had already lost an eye, and lingering around for any longer would have led to his fateful death. Momoshiki could have gotten rid of the claw grimes, and after seeing how Sasuke is now gone forever, he must have taken a sigh of relief before losing the control of Boruto's body. Or it could be that he used his own prescience to see the future of Sasuke, where he got to know about the Shinju awakening and how hard it's going to be for his vessel. This may be why he left Sasuke's tree untouched, as it is sourcing chakra to a humanoid Ten-Tails. So either Momoshiki's emergence was brief during the Code fight, or he calculated something after taking over Boruto, which is why he preferred to remain silent ever since. Everything seems to be going well for him, and he doesn't want to ruin anything by unnecessarily speaking to the vessel. The thought intertwine of Momoshiki is something that could hinder his plans or completely prevent them from happening. He is being careful to not spill any beans with Boruto that could potentially become an obstacle to his ultimate goal. But one thing that has kept everything hyped for the return of Momoshiki is the showdown that he's supposed supposed to have with the Shinjus. We don't know whether Momoshiki is using them in his favor or he sees them as an obstacle in his plans. But a potential battle between the otsutsuki and the leader of the Shinjus is something which has created a lot of hype, simply because Borushiki seems to be the only one who could potentially destroy Jura. But how likely is it for both of them to clash and the outcome turning in the favor of Momoshiki? Boruto claims that he cannot defeat Jura by himself and needs some serious help of Kawaki to destroy him. He even talked about his limiters and how his offensive abilities have been tampered by Amado. So assuming limitless Kawaki is on par with Ishiki and Boruto believes he could come handy at fighting the Shinjus, what if Momoshiki, who is now utilizing a way more powerful vessel, goes against Jura the boss Shinju? How close would the fight be, and does Borushiki actually stand a chance? Well, realistically speaking, Momoshiki does have an upper hand in this fight based on the techniques that his vessel has obtained. First, we have the planetary chakra absorption that he mixes with his Rasengan to create Uzuhiko. But looking at how diverse Momoshiki is when it comes to utilizing Boruto's powers, he can literally amplify the planetary chakra to create giant Rasengan which could have the potential to destroy the entire planet. In other words, he could amplify the Uzuhiko to destroy his opponents, be it the Ten Tails leader Jura or anyone. While Boruto claims he cannot himself defeat the Shinju boss, he wasn't taking in account the power of Momoshiki, who can utilize his newly acquired abilities with centuries worth of experience. Technically, Momoshiki should exceed Jura in experience too, assuming his powers originate from the time when the juvenile Ten Tails came into existence. So it's highly likely for Borushiki to turn out as the victor against a full-fledged battle with Jura. But there is one single angle which makes me think that Momoshiki might not be a fit fight for Jura. Remember when Ishiki was defeated and Momoshiki suddenly emerged to express his surprise at the Otsutsuki's defeat? This means Ishiki was so big of a threat that the monster didn't expect Naoto and the others to defeat him. This could be why he didn't join the fight. Maybe he doesn't want to be in the bad books of a fellow Otsutsuki, or it could be that he knew Boruto wasn't strong enough to fight him, and assuming something similar is happening with the Shinju boss Jura, then it's obvious for Momoshiki to not utter a word and silently monitor everything, since he must be knowing that there is practically no way for them to defeat Jura. Getting Kawaki's limiters removed and forming an alliance to fight the Shinjus will only increase their chances instead of guaranteeing an absolute future. If you would like to know more about the comeback of Sasuke, check out the video on the right. For the time travel theory, the left video is all yours. I will be back with some more amazing stuff very soon, so stay tuned.